thank you for joining us on stage for this year's conversation on agri-technology, 2026 Port Harcourt Tech Expo. I'd like to start today's conversation with Dr. Taiwo. There's a lot of talk around meat production in Nigeria. In certain countries, they have evolved, even African countries. We can talk about Rwanda, for example. They've evolved towards driving artificial insemination for meat production. But I think those conversations are lost in Nigeria. Could you tell us what happens in that space if artificial insemination happens, or why it's not popular for us around here?
Thank you very much for the privilege. Nigeria agricultural policies has actually retarded most of the agricultural programs.
Wow.
Because we are more of consumers, not producers. The Rwanda you refer to are producers. Rwanda government in year 2000 make a policy that every household must have a cow and produce milk. Until today, it's still on. But all those policies that Nigerian government has made, no one transget to the grassroots. So we are not producer of agricultural products, but consumers. That is why it's not working.
Wow, interesting. So when it comes to scaling meat production, are we implementing technologies to drive scale production, or do we still follow through with maybe traditional practices?
If we really want to drive it in the right technology, the youth have to take the front page. Currently now, most of the agricultural projects or farms are being run by old people, elderly people. And you can't expect them to go on digitals. Why the youth have left it. So until the youth are able to come back and interject data analysis, AI, precision farming, that is when we can scale up to the level of maximum production.
Interesting. It's a good thing that you have to bring data analysis and AI into that production. So let me speak to you, Uche, right now. In production, whether it's crop production or animal production today, how do you see data analysis? How do you implement technology that can support production in Nigeria? How have you done it? How do you think other people can take advantage of it?
Now, with regards to data and farming, about the correct data, you have things like overwatering crops, underwatering crops, applying fertilizer where it's not needed, because farmers don't see underneath the ground, but technology can collect data to suggest the soil quality such that you don't over-fertilize. And that amounts to cost savings over an extended period of time. Just the same way, even gathering rainfall levels can tell you if you need to further water the crops or not, which will increase yields by 25%. That also amounts to even more money made. So implementing data in agriculture is really important. However, like my colleague said, our majority of our farmers are above the familiar with, and until our youth come back into the industry, it's going to be difficult for us to really thrive with regards to agriculture.
Okay, so I'll take you up on, I think, 2 points you've made. How data is able to advise whether rainfall levels are sufficient, you don't need to water more. I've never heard about over-fertilize. Being, should I say, an ignoramus in this space, I assume fertilizer is fertilizer, it just produces. How have you applied this in your practice? How did it help improve your production? And from a cost perspective, was the technology not a cost driver that made your produce too expensive for the market?
Absolutely not. Break even and then start making a profit after applying technology. So a quick situation happened last year, mid last year. I had 2,000 bell pepper plants that I was managing.
Yeah.
Right. And we had targeted the dry season, which is when it's most expensive. However, with regards to climate change, you can't really tame the weather, so to speak. So we had the last week before we harvested, it rained for 7 days.
Wow.
2,000 crops disappeared in the space of a week, right? Which was devastating. But post that, we now have soil sensors in the ground.
You have
soil sensors
in the ground?
Yes, and weather station. And what the soil sensor can do is tell us the moisture content of the soil and also
which tells us surplus.
What does a farmer do? A farmer says, okay, we're going to plant this crop. Let's fertilize the ground. Let's plant the seed and let's fertilize some more, right? But with precision farming, you can tell if the ground on this patch of your land needs fertilizing. Maybe this patch has a bit too much NPK, and then you can sort of augment, which saves you a lot of money. Fertilizer is exposed to foreign exchange, which is one of the cost drivers driving costs up with regards to food production. So technology has been very instrumental in literally saving our crops.
Your production. Interesting. Okay. I'll come back to you around the cost factor shortly. But Dr. Taiwo, you talked about how Nigeria has not implemented its policies.
Save your day active now.
We have policies that are supposed to buy food
Come on now.
Production, for example. Do those policies exist? And why do you think they've not been implemented to the letter?
When you see there on
Every principle have a policy, but we have those that enforce the policy.
Yes.
The policies are there.
Okay.
The legislatures are there, but the enforcement of the policies are not there.
Okay.
And why again is not there is that there is nobody to drive the policy to the extent of giving a result. So if you drive a policy and you are not encouraging me for the policy to give results, there is no way I can contribute my own quota to it.
To that policy.
So the policy is there. We have animal policy, animal production policy. We have a lot of policy when it comes to animal production, but the legislature that's supposed to enforce the policy being used has not actually encouraged those that's supposed to make sure the policies are
the farmers. So the policy exists,
but we've not implemented.
Implementation,
which is sadly a common reality we face in Nigeria.
Exactly.
But when you look at, if we look at the audience, right? A reality hits you beyond policy. I know that I don't know how many farmers are in the audience or how many intending farmers are in the audience. Beyond policy, the Nigerian will ask you, how do I raise money to even start if I intend to start? Before we got on stage, we talked about the initiatives you've driven. Can you give us a brief about how that has grown, why it started, how it's grown, and how interested persons can come into partnership with your organization?
In agriculture, generally, not a matter of money, it's the mindset.
there are places that governments, private individuals, NGOs use money.
But if the mindset is not right, you can't get the right results. So for you to go into agriculture or any of the agricultural projects and be successful, the first thing that must be solved is the mindset.
Yes.
Because it's an entrepreneurship program.
Yes.
It's not money. If they give you a starter pack, it's not money. But you must make up your mind. You must zero your mind that I'm going into this operation to be successful. Money or no money. I've seen cases where people are giving starter pack. and they sold it. And that's the end of the project.
They
But
sold
they
the part.
sold it. Yes, they sold. They say it's money we need. So the mindset was wrong. So what we did is that most of the projects that actually the government even funded, NGO funded, is that there must be a criteria before the fund is released.
Yeah.
There must be a training.
You see the battery. The battery no dey.
Your
The power bank and the money sheet.
must be right. You are going into this. Why are you going into it? Oh, I want to make
This is
money.
almost- we are
Everybody
almost
wants to
there.
make money. But what about the sustainability?
Mm.
It's not the money. The money will come if it's being sustained. But if you want the money before the
How they see
sustenance,
this
of a
thing
sure that project will fail. So for most of the projects that we are successful, actually it was the mindset that we first work on. And after we work on the mindset, the project became a free for all, and it was very successful. So the mindset is the first thing that we always think about.
Okay, so give us how many farmers you've worked with in River State, for example. You talked about broiler production and access to markets. What's the estimated number of farmers you've worked with
If I'm right, I've worked with over 400 farmers.
in River State today?
River State.
And how many birds do you produce? If you aggregate production in a month, what's the average production?
It goes to almost 200.
200 ounce of meat or broiler meat.
Per month.
In this River State.
This River State.
Wow, can we applaud that? I mean, if we didn't have the opportunity to sit here, I would have had no idea that this sort of thing was happening in River State right now. 200 tons.
Yes.
200 tons in kilos is how many?
That's 200,000 kilos
200,000 kilos
Yes.
of meat,
of broiler meat.
of broiler meat produced in
Actually,
River.
let me tell you one thing about Niger Delta. We are consumers. We have a lot of hospitality, a lot of tourism, a lot of catering, and the Western Nigeria produce what we eat.
Yeah.
Good evening. My name is Tara Lakia. My question is directed to Dr. Taiwo. I'd like to know how we can cash into your current project, the poultry, the broiler project, where farmers can farm and you uptake from them. Thank you.
Go
ahead, please.
Well, we have a program where we uptake from farmers. So we are interested, you can wait behind us, see me. We try to encourage most farmers to go into production. We know that the challenge is always marketing, but we have the market. So as far as you are producing locally and you are producing organically, we can uptake from you, no matter the quantity. Thank you.
So, Dr. Taiwo, do you train for, because I heard the way you stressed the organically, do you train your partners for organic production?
Yeah, what we do is that we must enforce what we call the wholesome production of your meats. Because most of what we certify that we use from is awesome. So we visit your farm, we attach people to you from the day old. We take record statistic, we weigh your birds, and we have a time frame. We give you the quantity of feed they must consume, the vaccination, and everything. So we follow up. So we just don't leave you. Then by the time you want to say, you're not saying you want to say no. We want to know how your bird grows.
Yeah.
So we visit your farm, we follow it up, and we make sure that the birds are produced wholesomely for an wholesome consumption.
Thank you, sir. Okay, the next person, please.
Okay, my name is Precious Ugochukwu.
Okay.
So in the 1960s, Nigeria was like top exporter of palm oil. That's the oil palm, and so. But currently now, due to some challenges, it's no longer the top exporter.
It lost its spot in Malaysia and Indonesia. So my question is,
How can technology, understand, how can technology make the palm industry, that's the oil palm industry, better? That's to enhance palm oil production and also generate and also help better the GDP of Nigeria as a country or the economy of Nigeria as a country.
Okay, Uche, you want to take that?
I didn't get the last part of the question. How can technology
Drive the revival of the oil palm industry to increase its contribution to Nigeria's GDP.
Yeah. That's
Awesome.
economy.
Okay. Well, technology can be used in a number of ways. In operations, for instance, to make sure the quality is at par with other producing countries in the world. And more importantly, actually, I think there's a financing issue, right? So technology could be used through the blockchain, through its use of trust, transparency, and traceability to raise funds and also to track the production process of these palm trees. So those are the two ways that they can put us back on the map with regards to our palm oil exports.
When you say blockchain, you know, we love to hear invest in crypto. Is when you say block for agriculture, is that what you mean? Invest in crypto, or is there a value chain around blockchain for agriculture?
Thank you for asking. I almost forgot to clarify that. No, so blockchain is the underpinning technology that drives cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
But when I say blockchain with regards to farming, I'm talking about blockchain's other aspects, such as trust, transparency, and traceability. So because the blockchain is immutable, these qualities can come into farming to make sure that our produce is trusted, is transparent, and is traceable. And these days with food fraud, with regards to even palm oil deforestation issues, we can use blockchain to segue away from those concerns with regards to palm oil production.
Just with what you said, right? Blockchain, palm oil production. Is there a link between that and maybe the carbon credits market, for example? Because when I hear blockchain, palm oil production, scaling, is there a possibility around that as well?
Absolutely. With regards to palm oil production, depending on if you grow it regeneratively, okay, you can use the blockchain to track the carbon that has been sequestered by the palm trees, right? So as we know or may not know, palm trees, green plants generally sequester carbon from the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Right. And once that happens, blockchain could be used to track that immutably and then sell that, on the international market or carbon credit market.
Okay, thank you. I will have that conversation on the side zone because I saw how Doctor was looking at you. He's also interested in that conversation. Okay, our last question before we go.
Yeah, my name is Romeo Chikwado Nelson.
Okay.
My question is to Mr. Uche. Sorry, I believe it's because of the want of time. I didn't actually, and I believe like most of us here, get a better scope of what you're actually trying to tell us, because what we have done here is basically they talked about poultry. Other people are into piggery farming, and we're actually looking for a platform where we can actually get more information regarding to agri-finances and agri-intelligence, which I was thinking you actually speak more on that, but believe because of the waste of time. So kindly direct us how we can follow up after this place and learn more about what you do. I'm very, very much interested, sir.
Okay, thank you for the question. Well, you can see me after the talk, or you can follow me on LinkedIn. My handle is...
Sorry, we still have 2.5 minutes.
Okay.
Take 1 minute and discuss financing for agro production around the farmhouse model.
Okay, so
1 minute.
What we do at the Farmhouse Club is we aggregate smallholder farmers or farmers in general against production processing systems. So we aggregate the risk rather than put it in the hands of smallholder farmers that are not very risk creditworthy these days. We channel that towards processing plants. So if you're producing pigs, for instance, how can we add value to the pigs, right? What kind of processing is involved such that we can situate a processing plant near you and then we become access to market for you. This is one way that the Farmhouse Club can help smallholder farmers. But I'm happy to have that conversation with you after the show.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Taiwo. Thank you, Uche. And thank you to our lovely audience.